First Amendment, Establishment Clause, Free Exercise Clause, Freedom of Speech, Press, Assembly, Right to Petition. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. But this government wants to censor talk radio, knock down your blogs, and be damned should you bring a grievance to them.
In a world of radio with one man who is named Joe Mahalik.
You're offering me a bribe. What you have just done is illegal. And in this state, if convicted, you could be fined up to $5,000 or spend 6 months in a correctional facility.
Can we do it one more time without, the long Joel?
You're listening to Joe Mahalik on the Behind the Mic radio show.
And remember, the Behind the Mic radio show is brought to you by water.
It's everywhere. It's wet. You need it. Behind the Mic.
Welcome back to the show. We really need to time the breaks a little bit closer to my snack times. Important times. Snack times, right?
You bet they are.
Welcome back. The phone number is toll-free 866-417-4359. 866-417-4359. 646-716-8609. Facebook.com/Behind the Mic, M-I-K-E, or WQYB Radio at Twitter. There are the various ways you can get a hold of us. I'm joined at the table here by Ron and also by Stan Lee. And got the guys all heated up in the first half hour. Sorry about that. Hope your blood pressures have come back down.
Huh. It's all good.
In this segment, we'll raise them up just a little bit.
I'm ready.
And then I'll probably light you on fire in the third segment. So... Stan, I know that you read the latest op-ed, so I know you did a little studying. So on my blog at joelmahalik.blogspot.com, my latest op-ed, finally, after a week and a half, almost 2 weeks of just doing some different reading and researching some things. Part of a new series on my blog I'm doing, Solving Our Nation's Problems, and this one addresses homeless. So, just some quick facts. And Stan, you may have seen this, may have thought it was pretty funny. I put like this disclaimer on there before you even get into the blog that says, look, I'm not an economist, but I'm a guy with common sense. I kind of know. I may not know how the economy works as far as being a government economist, but I'm a voting patriotic constituent, who does recognize obvious waste.
Yeah.
And you'll see that same preface as I go through this series of Solving Our Nation's Problems. But this one addresses homeless. Now, just a couple facts. This is how bad it is. It's so bad that there is a report, an annual report submitted to Congress called the Annual Homeless Assessment Report. That's right, AHAR report. And I posted some facts from 2013's report, which includes that on any given night, there's just shy of 700,000 homeless individuals. You can get the exact number by looking at the report. And here's what's worse. 12%, or just under 58,000, are veterans. Now, Wednesday, Ron and I spoke about the veterans a little bit and the fact that we are the only country who apparently does not know how to take care of the people who have taken care of our country. No other country on this planet allows their homeless to be sick, die without proper health care, go hungry, and go homeless. And in fact, in many countries, the veterans are treated like royalty until the day they die. Then you know what? Their family is treated like royalty beyond that. But this isn't just a veterans issue. This opinion, it covers the broad thing. I was talking about homeless, but it's just deplorable to know that 12%, okay, or almost 60,000 people on any given night are American veterans that are living on the streets or living in cars or perhaps getting a bed in a homeless shelter. So I set out on a mission to do some thinking about one thing that could maybe set a spark, maybe a little spark ignites a fire, a proverbial fire that begins to solve the problem. And it dawned on me that months ago we talked about on a show how people are building luxury palaces using shipping containers. You remember we talked about that, Ron? Tony?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So in my blog, I'm talking about shipping containers. And the fact that, sometimes you can get them for free because sometimes these shipping companies just want to get rid of them and bring new stock in. And I'm sure if we could start a government program, I'm sure the government can get great deals on these containers. Even if they're not the free ones. I personally have seen them new, ranging from $850, if you want a smaller one, $850, to about $3,000 to $4,000. Okay, now you have a shipping container. Now you have 20 of them. Let's build a neighborhood. Let's build an apartment complex out of shipping containers. How do you do that? I don't know. Well, I do know. That was wrong of me to say. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Let me take that back. Let's strike that from the record. Obviously, if I did not know, I would not have written an opinion editorial on it, right? So now you have these containers. And I was very conservative, ultra conservative. I probably spent more money than I had to because after I wrote the article, and like I said, it did take me, no lie, week and a half to write this. So I didn't want to go back and try carving it up more once I realized I may have overshot the money. But that's okay. Wait till you hear the math. Because I figured $30,000 per unit to finish it and make it livable. I mean, $30,000 is extremely generous. It would be near a palace. I overshot that maybe by $2,000 to $5,000. So maybe, maybe like $25,000, because let's think about it. My idea for the shipping container idea is to get the homeless off the streets, give them a roof over their head, and a chance, so they have a chance to get that spark going again. But when you think about it, the reason I think I overshot it is, what do you really need? You need a bed, maybe 2 bedrooms, okay, if it's a family. And one of the bedrooms, you have to think of this as a hotel room, not really a house. When we're designing this basic housing, even if you design each one, which is about, let's see, they're 40 by 20, so that's 800 square feet. Even if you design it as a hotel room, that's better than military barracks. Am I correct, Stan? What the hell is Stan? I just needed one yes or no from him.
Yes, you are. You are very much correct.
So I'm correct. If I take a shipping container and make it look like an apartment, like a hotel room down the shore, you're living better than the military barracks.
Yep.
Okay. Now, and then you do this, either make them as row homes. I mean, we have designers overseas that are taking shipping containers and making strip malls out of them. Low rent strip mall stores. We have people making beach houses out of them. We have people using them instead of log cabins. They're making them look like log cabins because you can make it look like whatever you want, and putting them in their vacation spots in the mountains, in the woods. People making mansions out of these things. People making simple ranchers out of these things. I'm saying let's make small housing adequate enough for somebody to sleep. You put and make the whole roof solar panels. Now you have sustainable energy. You're saving money in the long run for the people that are going to occupy it. Now, I took, of all the money we send overseas, of all the money we send to this country and that country for this and that, I took one invoice, one statement, one ticket item. I concentrated on one item. And that is, confirmed by the Wall Street Journal, the $400 million that the United States sends annually to the organization known as Hamas. I took that one ticket item. As a voting constituent, I should have a say and a right that money does not go to a terrorist organization. So I took that one $400 million bill, and I divided my $35,000 per house into that. Which, as I said, after some further study, after I wrote the article, I probably overshot by $5,000. But at $35,000 per, we can create 11,428 homes. 11,428 homes.
And you got to look at them like they are studio apartments, that's all.
Yes. They don't need to be luxurious. They don't. You need a stove, a toilet, a shower, 1 to 2 bedrooms.
Yep. And
go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead.
If you economize and if you're careful on how you build, a bathroom that's like an airplane bathroom, or a mobile home, or a traveling Winnebago bathroom. I mean, you can economize size. Right.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the people who are making a big thing out of micro living, where they're living in these houses that are about 140 square feet.
Yeah.
140 square feet. My friends, in a self-storage business, that is a medium-sized storage unit. And they brag about how they pack everything in and how everything is micro and condensed. This flips out, your countertop flips out, your sink packs away, slides into a drawer. And people are calling that a luxurious way to micro live. I'm talking about something 3 times that size, 4 times that size. And I'm talking about doing it with money that we're sending to an organization who at the moment is lobbing missiles into one of our allies' cities. As a taxpayer, as a constituent of the United States, that sounds like a better use of our money to me.
And if you want a visual picture, take a look at any of the motels on the way to the shore that, right next to each other, room. Well, these are studio rooms. They're also stackable. Right. They're sturdy. They're flat.
Yeah, and if you go to the blog, you got a good point. If you go to my blog at joelmahalik.blogspot.com, this particular blog, there is 2 interesting pictures. One shows you an artist rendering of what you can do with a single, or if you doubled them up, depending, which is basically bolting 2 containers side by side and cutting the centers out. And another picture which shows you, and I believe it's from a European country, how they've taken shipping containers and made a stackable apartment complex.
Right.
So it can be done. It is the poster child for recycling.
Yep.
To be able to take this that would otherwise, be, and how many of these things wind up on the ocean floor?
A lot. Oh, a lot. Because when they want to get rid of them, recycle or not, they get rid of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is what my current blog's about. Ron, do you have any thoughts on this? I want to, spread the wealth a little bit, talk about this. And if you have a comment out there, by the way, toll free 866-417-4359. Ron?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. You're hitting on an idea that, I mean, heaven forbid we not fund Hamas.
Yeah, right.
But look at it. That's what government at work. I mean, they're sitting there funding these organizations that hate us, that want our demise, that want the demise of our ally or allies, depending on who it is or whom. And we can't look at a simple thing like the veterans. Mm-hmm. The subject matter, not that the veterans are simple. But, it's part of my frustration, which is what's going on now. I mean, obviously for you wrote a blog piece about it, and, we all know everybody's schedule, but, for you to take the time out to do that, it means something. And, I mean, what else can I say?
Well, that's the other reason it took me a week and a half.
It's something obviously that our own government isn't looking at. I mean, their priorities aren't veterans. Look at what they're doing to the military now. So, I mean, it's just a whole lump of frustration. So
right, and here's the other thing. Now I'm in the process. I've started the second piece to this, which will address hunger, and then the piece after that will address unemployment. But and so here's a preview of number 3, because a lot of this will tie right in as I continue to gather ground with these segments. But think of the jobs you create when all of a sudden, and this is just if you pull that one $400 million bill off the table, 11,428 homes. Imagine how many construction jobs you just did. Imagine how many designer jobs how many design companies or design personnel you just had to hire to design the layout that would give the basic principles of each house. Mm-hmm. All the shovel-ready construction jobs to do the work inside, the carpentry, the electrical, the plumbing. The groundwork. You got to put it on a foundation. So all the groundwork, the site work. I mean, you're creating jobs. You're creating jobs.
Yeah.
While providing a roof for your own homeless. What a concept.
Yeah, well, it's not like something on this level hasn't been done before. I mean, right after World War II, part of the, GI funds and all that were going to the homes, and they were building homes. And there's a section here not too far from where we live where, a lot of them were the veteran homes from World War II. I mean, blocks and blocks of them. So
right. So expect to see elements of this blog wind up in my third part of the series on unemployment, because this creates jobs, and this is just 400 million.
Yep.
I do not believe that your typical voter understands the amount of money that leaves this country. How can a country in debt as much as we are afford to ship all this money out of here? And they don't know the half of it. Let me tell you something, folks. I don't know the half of it. Mm-hmm. In my little bit of research to bring this kind of news to you, I haven't chipped the iceberg. I have licked my finger and put it on top of the iceberg, and my finger's just kind of stuck there as I learn. You have no idea. But you go and vote over and over for the same people, and you expect them to do good for us and for you. I'm humanitarian enough to say there's a problem in this country. There are problems here that need to be fixed before problems over there. And, of course, I'm not talking about military. I mean, we're shaving the military down while our allies are being attacked. That's a whole different story. A whole different story.
Building up, yeah. Can I say something that I posted on Dennis's or a?
Are you straying off the topic, or are you staying on topic?
It's so similar, it's not funny.
Okay, go ahead then.
All right, let me say, shouldn't Americans come first? Shouldn't Americans take care of Americans before helping foreigners? I don't care if it's sending money to Egypt for their sewers and their libraries while Detroit goes bankrupt. I don't care if it's sending troops to the Middle East while thousands sneak across our borders. I don't care what the situation is. Shouldn't America take care of Americans first? Let's prioritize people. Children at our borders, sure, let's help them after we help the homeless children living in poverty right here in America. I'm not saying to ignore those foreign citizens. I'm saying take care of our own before taking care of the foreigners. I'm saying take care of our own homeless. You have homeless entering our country? Well, sure. Let's offer housing to them after we offer housing to the homeless in our cities, the homeless veterans who served our country. Let's not bypass Americans to help those who aren't even citizens of this country. Let's help our own people and then help those who aren't from the U.S. Prioritize people, because with limited money and limited assets, we need to prioritize.
And I think I read that, and it was very well said. And you touch on another point that I get into in my second part of my series, Americans Helping Americans, because that's something I'll attack in my Hunger series, the fact that wait till you find out how much money rolls out of this country by wealthy Americans who donate the money to other countries for tax breaks. You're not going to believe the figures will make you fall down and bust your lip wide open. So you got to look out for that. That blog, hopefully, it takes research, so I don't sound like a complete idiot. I already preface it claiming that I'm not an economist, so I do have to do my research, and it's like researching news here. I want to make sure I'm giving you the right news, so I want to make sure that I'm pulling information from the right resources when I write these blogs, so I don't look like some sort of idiot. But I do mention that. That's a good point you make. Not only the government money, and as I said, this is just the just nary the tip of the iceberg. There's $400 million, but then there's so much money that leaves out of here because people want to donate. They want to get those tax breaks. That's great, but it's leaving. It's leaving because you see the commercials of the poor people in other countries on TV. I get it, but how about we do some commercials of the poor people here? If it pulls at your heartstrings so much that you send so much money overseas, then somebody start making commercials of the homeless and the hungry here, so we can get that benefit as well. Because we can use that money. Wait till you hear that price tag. I can't promise you it'll be done by next week, but look for it. But that price tag would be like we could solve homelessness based on this annual report's numbers. We could solve homelessness in 1 year. In 1 year. How great of a feat would that be to show the world that the United States squashed hunger and homelessness in its own country? Forget No Child Left Behind with your new education laws. How about No American Left Behind? Let's try that one on for size. See how that looks in the mirror. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
And you said my blood pressure would go down.
I did say that, didn't I? I'm sorry. Well, if I can get people to think, if I can enrage people who listen to this show like I enrage my own staff on this show, then we're doing something right. Because that's what's not happening out there. People are not getting enraged enough before they walk into those polls.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, Senator Chris Coons from Delaware is broadcasting all these ads on Facebook that he's for bipartisanship. No, it's August. He's for re-election. He doesn't give a damn about bipartisanship. He's all about, I want your votes. And then I'll be non-bipartisan after November 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever the hell it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and any political candidate who is saying, oh, I'm for this, I have done that, look up their record, people. Mm-hmm. Don't believe their face value. Don't believe what they say.
Good point. That's what I'm always saying.
Look it up. Google him. Take a look at his voting record. Take a look at
Better yet, get off your lazy asses and go out and meet your candidates.
That too. You know,
how's that for an idea?
They do television ads. They do radio ads.
Right.
They don't come out and meet their constituents, and that's a crying shame.
That's right. Well, no, I'd rather meet them. I don't want them coming to my door. Coming up in the next hour, we will talk about. Well, I guess we should talk about the Israeli conflict. Maybe we'll cover in a half hour a couple different news pieces, depending on how the conversation goes. Depending on how close to a heart attack I can bring Stan and Ron. And then, of course, later on, Ron brings us the Ask Clown of the Week awards, which will hopefully finish out this week's broadcast with some humor and some comedy for you. We'll be back with more after this on Behind the Mic.
You're listening to Behind the Mic with Joe Mahalik. We would love to hear from you. You can email your questions and comments to studio@behindthemic.info. That's studio@behindthemic.info. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be back right after this brief announcement.